I'm Christopher Sarro, president of Holt Construction. I'm proud to announce that the Port Authority of New York and New Jersey, in partnership with American Airlines, URW Airports, has announced a $125 million commercial redevelopment of JFK's Terminal 8. As the project's construction partner, Holt Construction is pleased to partner with URW to introduce our new information and technical assistance program designed to connect you to opportunities available across the 24-month redevelopment of Terminal 8, all part of the Port Authority's $19 billion airport redevelopment program that is transforming New York's airport system. Working with our partners at the Port Authority, American Airlines, URW, and Phoenix Infrastructure, we have designed a special series of programs that will help you learn more about the project, the business and contracting opportunities that are right for your company, and how your business can participate. Thank you for joining us, and we look forward to partnering together.
Good evening, everyone, and welcome to Learn How to Pre-Qualify with Holt Construction. This session will take you through a step-by-step process of Holt's pre-qualification. You will have an opportunity to ask questions and determine which documents you have or might be missing. All firms need to be pre-qualified with Holt. This is your first step to working with Holt and being able to bid on packages. We'll begin with introducing our panelists. Today we have Matt.
Hi, I'm Matt Anselmi. I'm the CFO for Holt Construction. I oversee accounting and finance here. I also review subcontractor and vendor financials during the pre-qualification process.
Next, we have Roland.
Thank you, Rosie. My name is Roland Leal. I work with Holt Construction as Assistant Safety Director, and I assist with the pre-qualification of subcontractors and retrospect of safety.
Next, we have Nikki.
Hi, Rosie. My name is Nikki Marcano. I am the contracts manager here at Holt Construction. I oversee the contracts, mostly subcontracts and sub-insurance, as well as the pre-qual process here at Holt.
And last but not least, we have Jessica.
Hi, I'm Jessica Rondash, Director of Business Operations and Performance at Holt, and I oversee our ESG program, specifically our subcontractor diversity program.
Thank you, Jessica. So let's begin with some of the basics. Jessica, why should a firm pre-qualify with Holt, and where can they pre-qualify?
So you want to pre-qualify with Holt because that's the first step for working with us. In order to work on any of our job sites or send us materials or anything like that, you have to go through our pre-qualification process. And where you pre-qualify is going to be through Building Connected. We'll send you a link to there, and that will be the place you fill out your application, as well as the place that you'll submit bids in the future for estimating.
And do all the firms fill out the same application, or do they have to fill out different ones?
So we have 3 different applications. One's for subcontractors, anyone performing labor on site, one for materials only vendors, and then one for service and consultant type of vendor. So depending on the type of firm you are, will depend on the type of application you get.
And then last, where do they get the application?
To get an application, you're going to want to send an email to info@rfwconsultants.com. You'll let them know you want to pre-qualify with Holt, and then we'll get the pre-qualification application over to you.
Thank you, Jessica. So let's discuss the insurance and legal part of the application. Nikki, what are the COI requirements in order to pre-qualify?
So in order to pre-qualify with Holt, you will need a 1 million over 2 million GL and a $5 million umbrella.
And then what happens when a firm doesn't have the insurance? Do they have to purchase insurance during the pre-qual period, or can they obtain the required insurance after a contract award?
So yes, Holt will need to see that you can obtain the insurance that's required. However, you can provide an evidence of insurability or proof of insurance from your broker to just evidence that you can provide that insurance at some point in the process.
And in regards to MWBE, SBE, and specific certifications, do they have to submit documentation to prove that they are an MWBE?
Yes, we will need to see the certification, a valid certification for whichever class that they are looking to qualify as. It needs to be valid, and if it's soon to expire, we will seek that renewal to make sure that it's valid.
And then what legal information is required by Holt to pre-qualify?
So we just basically want to know who we're working with and, whether a sub or vendor has been involved in any litigation within the last 5 years. There's some questions in the pre-qual that are specific to those issues. And then if they have litigation or litigation history, they should upload a log that tells us all the litigation that they've been involved in.
And then if a company does have litigation against them, does that disqualify them from pre-qualifying?
No, that alone does not disqualify them. We just want to know, like I said, who we're working with, and for it to be as transparent as possible, and we know what the nature of that litigation is.
So moving on the Holt Master Agreement, can you explain what it is and what is required for subcontractors?
Yeah, so depending on the geography where the sub is going to be working, we have a master subcontract agreement that outlines the terms and conditions in which we will engage on projects together. It's a master agreement. We look for subs to sign it so that we can issue them a simple project-specific agreement later upon award.
All right, thank you, Nikki. Now let's dive into the financial portion of the pre-qual process. Matt, what are the financial documents that a vendor needs to submit?
A vendor would need to submit their financial statements, and there are 3 levels. There's audited financials, there are reviewed and compiled. Preferably, we would like to see audited because they provide the most assurance, but if we don't have them, we will look at other documents in conjunction with those.
And then can you identify some red flags that may impact a vendor's ability to be approved for pre-qualification?
Sure. Red flags would be if a company has insufficient or low liquidity. We're primarily looking at their most liquid assets to see if their ability to cover their short-term liabilities is sufficient. But also if they have insufficient working capital, if they have any issues with their equity, if they have negative equity. But other things that we want to look at that can help that are if they have a line of credit, how much are they into that line of credit? What's their aggregate and available line at that point? Do they have a bonding line of credit? These are all other entities looking at them and providing them with credit. So we look at that as favorable.
So touching on bonding, do we require vendors to have bonding capacity?
We don't require it. We may require on certain jobs. However, it is a plus because as I was alluding to, if another creditor provides them with credit, it gives us a level of assurance. And I will review or sometimes recommend that a subcontractor provide us with a letter from their bank or their surety regarding their aggregate and their available capacity.
Thank you, Matt. Now, we all know safety is a major focus within the construction industry. Roland, can you tell us what safety documents a vendor must submit, please?
Of course. Thank you, Rosie. So whenever we're discussing the safety portion of pre-qualifications, we will be looking into the company's EMR for the past 5 years. And to provide proof to us, what we'll be looking for is a letter from your insurer. So it's kind of like a simple request that you can make, in an email form, pretty casual. And as long as you get that information to us and you're able to provide those documents, we will be able to use that information to approve as far as EMR goes. The other thing we'll be looking for is COVID-19 protocol plans, just because it's still current issue and it's still something that's being accounted for to this day. In addition to those things, we'll be looking for a site-specific health and safety plan. And with that, we will be able to approve and push forward that process as far as the safety end goes.
And do firms need to have a separate person overseeing their safety policy?
So what we do look for is a competent person. So typically we would like to have a competent person on site, and we would like to have the designated competent person listed out in any sort of submittals that are received from the vendor who's trying to bid work from us. The other thing that we do look into is the establishment search on the OSHA website. And what we do there is look into the last 5 years if there have been any sort of major incidents that have occurred or any OSHA fines that have been dispersed. So those are kind of the things we look out for on the pre-qual side.
And then what is an EMR, and what if a company doesn't have an EMR rating?
So typically companies with less than 11 employees, they will not qualify for an EMR. And if you do not have an EMR, that is okay, as long as we do have some sort of documented proof that you are a new company, a startup, or the fact that you only have 11 or less employees. So.
All right, thank you, Roland. Jessica, we got a bunch more questions for you. So what should you do if you don't have the right documents readily available?
So you can start working on the application without the documents. It might be a little easier to collect everything and then start, but you can certainly start the application, skip over what you don't have, and then come back to it at the end. You can't submit the application without all the documents, so you can certainly skip ahead, fill out some other sections while you're waiting to get those documents to you.
And then how should you be working with your professional team, such as your accountant, bookkeeper, insurance broker, site safety manager, if you have one? And then what about the other consultants that assist in your businesses?
Right. So you're going to want to include anyone that's going to be able to provide you the documentation you need. So your insurance broker, you're going to want to reach out for your proof of insurance. Accountant or bookkeeper, whether it's in-house or you have a consultant, you're going to want to get all your financial statements. Same thing, site safety. If you have a manager or someone internally that oversees your program, you're going to want to collect the EMR, the OSHA logs, those sorts of things. So anyone that's going to help you with the documentation that's required of you, if you need your legal department to go through anything, you're going to want to get them involved while you're filling out the application.
So it sounds like there's a lot of information involved that needs to be submitted. How long does it normally take for Holt to review all that information?
So once you submit it to us, it takes us about a week to 2 weeks to go through everything. Obviously, you can see we have a lot of different departments that look at different pieces. So it takes us a little bit of time to go through it. So about a week or 2 weeks.
Okay. And then what happens if a firm submits something incorrectly or if more information is required?
So when everyone on this call, for example, reviews the application, if they need something that requires clarification, if they need you to submit more information, they're going to write some notes down. And then once everyone's reviewed it, our contracts department, if there's clarification needed, they're going to send the application back to you and ask you to revise it. So they're going to put in the email exactly what they need you to submit. So if you need to submit some more legal documentation or we need more safety documentation, we're going to tell you all at once and give you the chance to revise the application and then resubmit it to us.
And then do you have any tips or advice for filling out the pre-qual?
Yeah, the most important thing that you want to remember when filling out the pre-qual is to just be honest. If you have litigation, if you have, accidents that have happened, that's okay. Those things happen. That does not automatically disqualify you. So just be open and honest about everything you have going on. What's worse is trying to hide it and then us finding out anyway when we do our due diligence. So most important thing, just try and be as honest as possible. Fill it out to the best of your ability. Like I said, if we need clarification, if we need more information, we're going to reach out to you and we're going to get that from you. We're not just going to review it and toss it away if it's not filled out perfectly. So be as honest as possible, as thorough as possible, and we'll reach back out to you with any questions or issues.
Thank you, Jessica. And thank you, Matt, Nikki, and Roland. Thank you for everybody attending today's session. To request to be pre-qualified with Holt Construction, please reach out to infot8@rfwconsultants.com. We hope to see you at our next session being held on August 17th, where we will be discussing how to handle and prepare for bids. You can register for future events at www.thenewjfkt8.com. So now let's move on to our audience's questions. Good evening, everyone. So first question we have is, we're currently working with the GC on a design build project at JFK providing quality assurance inspections. And I'm curious whether or not the pre-qualification process is different for professional services companies such as them. Jessica, that one's for you.
Yeah, so we actually have 3 separate applications, one for a subcontractor doing labor on site, one for a materials only vendor, and then one for a professional services type vendor. So your application will be a little different, have a little less information you will need to fill out. So in that case, when you reach out to us, you just let us know what type of company you are, and we'll make sure you get the right application.
And then there's a new subcontractor and they're new. How do they get involved?
If you want to pre-qual with us and you haven't worked with us before, you're going to send an email to info@rfwconsultants.com. Let them know you're interested in pre-qualing with Holt. They'll get that over to us and we will send you the application.
Nikki, is it possible to increase the GL to cover the cost of the umbrella requirement? For example, the total GL is 4 million over 4 million.
Yes, it is possible to submit what you have, and our insurance broker will review your insurance to see whether there are any other exclusions or things that would bar you from working with Holt. I will say that the clients may require higher limits, and so, we'll look at what you provide.
And Lauren, what exactly is low liquidity for financial requirements?
So low liquidity would be anything with a quick ratio less than 1. And the quick ratio is basically your cash, marketable securities, other liquid assets, plus your accounts receivable, minus your short-term liabilities. So just making sure that you have more assets available than liabilities.
Do you have any need for site safety managers?
We might need safety managers. I would say definitely reach out to us and we will send over the pre-qual to you for a services agreement. And then if we can use you on anything, we will.
How many years of financials are required? And what exactly is required again? Lauren?
So, I mean, I guess we would take whatever you have to start. If you're a new company and you don't have years of financials behind you, we would just look into what you do have. While we do have requirements, we are pretty flexible on working with smaller contractors and taking what you guys are available, have to offer us. The 3 different types of financials that we do look for are either audited, compiled, or reviewed. And those are just different levels of assurances from an outside firm, for like your CPA firm. They would audit your financials a little bit more deeper. Compilation is a little less assurances from them. And then there's just a review, which is the lowest form.
Thank you. Next question is, how can we get a pre-qualification? So again, if you guys want to pre-qualify with Holt Construction, you can send an email to info@rfwconsultants.com. Put in the subject line, pre-qualification with Holt Construction, and then we will be able to reach out to you. Next question is, if we already pre-qualify with Holt, we need to fill out another pre-qualification form specifically for this project. Jessica?
No, you don't. As long as you're pre-qualified with us, you can work on any project in any region with us. So you just got to pre-qualify one time and then you'll be able to work on this project.
Okay. What is the preferred EMR rating to be considered eligible? I'm going to shoot this one over to Jess.
Sure. So we want you to have a 1. So, sorry, anything over a 1 is going to be considered questionable. Anything under a 1 is acceptable, and 0 or 1 exactly is going to mean you don't have enough experience. But anything you have, if it's over 1, you send it to us and we'll review the entirety of your safety program together. Like I said before, anything over 1 or anything like that, nothing completely bars you from working with us. So you want to have anything below a 1 is the best you can have, but we will look at anything you do have.
So next question is, does pre-qualifying with Holt allow me to bid on any project or just projects related to Terminal 8?
I'll take that, any project. So as long as you're pre-qualified with us, you can work in any region, airport, non-airport work, it doesn't matter. So you pre-qualify once with us and you can work in any project, any region.
Next question is, if I have a high EMR rating, can I still pre-qualify with Holt?
Yes. Like I said, nothing disbars you from qualifying with us. You'll send it to us. You can even write an explanation for why it is so high, anything you're doing to lower it, and we'll take all of that into consideration.
Okay. Next question is, can someone assist me in filling out the pre-qualification application?
So yeah, when you get it and you start filling it out, if you have any questions, you'll reach out to our contracts department. They're going to be the one that sends you the application and they'll be able to help you with it, anything step by step. And then if you do have any technical issues, you're having trouble actually accessing the program or anything like that, our contracts department will put you in contact with the IT department at Building Connected, which is where you'll fill out the application and they'll be able to help you with that.
And Nikki, does the size of the job impact my insurance requirements?
I'm sorry, can you repeat the question?
Does the size of the job impact my insurance requirements?
Not necessarily. It's really going to be, Holt standard requirements, which are the 1 million over 2 million GL and 5 million umbrella. If you have that, we can just, start working with you.
Okay, and then I have another one for you. Umbrella coverage is expensive. Is it possible to obtain this coverage after we win an award?
Yes.
And then one more for you, Nikki. Is there any relief for small contractors who can't meet the insurance requirements?
The question is there any relief?
Yeah, for smaller contractors that can't meet the insurance requirements.
Yeah, provide what you have and our insurance broker will review it and, we'll let you know whether we can accept it or not.
Okay, thank you. Someone mentioned estimating team. Please explain a little bit. Our estimating team deals with all the bids. So when you do go to bid, you'll be dealing with them majority of the time. So we don't look up our bid packages. So we have no more questions. So that is it for tonight. Again, if anybody has any questions or they want to pre-qualify with Holt Construction, please send an email at info@rfwconsultants.com. Our next session is August 17th from 12 to 1. And this is where you'll be meeting some of the PMs and some of the estimators to go over on how to bid and how to properly prepare a bid. Good night, everyone.
Thank you.